SpaceX just closed a major chapter in its Starship saga and opened the door to the future of space exploration. On Monday evening, the company launched what many are calling a nearly flawless suborbital mission using its final version 2 Starship-Super Heavy rocket from Starbase, Texas. This wasn't just another test flight. This was the last flight of this generation of Starship, a rocket that stands over 400 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty, and represents years of innovation, trial, and fiery explosions. Let's break down what happened during this historic flight, why it matters, and what's next for Elon Musk's journey to the Moon and Mars. At exactly 6:23 p.m. Central Time, SpaceX ignited its 13 Raptor engines and sent the massive Super Heavy booster roaring off Pad A at Starbase. The skies above Texas lit up as Starship began its 1-hour-long suborbital mission. According to SpaceX engineers, the launch went almost perfectly, except for one hiccup. One of the booster's engines didn't reignite during the boost-back burn, a crucial maneuver that helps the rocket slow down and return toward the Gulf of Mexico. But in true SpaceX style, even that issue turned into an experiment. That same engine came back to life later during the landing burn, helping SpaceX test a new configuration, going from 13 engines to 5, and finally to 3 before splashdown. This was the second and final flight for this particular booster, known as B-15, which had previously flown on Starship Flight 8 in March. Meanwhile, the upper stage, Starship S-38, continued its climb toward the Indian Ocean. During flight, it performed several critical tests for SpaceX's future missions. First, it released 8 large metal rectangles designed to simulate the size and weight of future version 3 satellites. Then, it reignited one of its sea-level Raptor engines to simulate a deorbit burn, something that will be essential when Starship begins orbital missions and returns payloads safely back to Earth. As it re-entered the atmosphere, Starship passed through peak heating and maximum aerodynamic pressure, 2 of the most dangerous points during re-entry. Despite intense stress and heat, the vehicle stayed mostly intact, providing SpaceX with crucial data about the performance of its heat shield system. Elon Musk congratulated the team shortly after, posting, "Great work by the @SpaceX team. This was the last Starship launch of 2025 and the final flight from Pad A in its current setup. SpaceX is now shifting focus to the version 3 Starship-Super Heavy, which will launch from Pad B. Version 3 will be the rocket that actually takes payloads to orbit, and eventually to the Moon and Mars. But before SpaceX can go beyond low Earth orbit, it needs to master in-space refueling, the process of transferring and storing propellant between 2 starships while in orbit. That's not just for fun, it's a NASA requirement for the Artemis program, the U.S. mission to return astronauts to the Moon. NASA has already awarded SpaceX billions of dollars to develop a human landing system, HLS, based on Starship, which will be used for the Artemis 3 and Artemis 4 missions. Before any humans can land on the Moon, SpaceX must first perform a propellant transfer demonstration in orbit, essentially refueling one Starship from another while both are floating above Earth. This complex procedure is key to enabling deep space missions. Originally, the demo was planned for 2025, but the timeline remains uncertain. Once successful, SpaceX will then perform an uncrewed lunar landing test, proving that Starship can land and lift off from the Moon's surface before carrying astronauts. Currently, Artemis 3 is scheduled for mid-2027, roughly 1 year after Artemis 2, which will orbit the Moon but not land. If SpaceX delivers, the same rocket design that launched from Texas this week could eventually take humans farther than they've gone in 50 years. So, what does this mean for the future of space travel? SpaceX just finished one chapter, the version 2 Starship, and is now preparing for the next big leap, version 3. Each flight teaches them something new about reusability, engine performance, heat protection, and orbital operations. As we look to 2026 and beyond, SpaceX isn't just chasing records. It's building the technology that could take humanity to the Moon, Mars, and maybe even beyond. This was SpaceX's final version 2 Starship flight, and the start of a new era in space exploration. What do you think? Will Elon Musk get humans to Mars in the next decade? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more space news.